We certainly have a new best S2-Class car in Forza Horizon 5's backstage shop. It's the beastly Koenigsegg CC GT, a handling machine. Let's talk about it. Welcome back everybody, I'm your favorite German potato and I can already tell you I love this Koenigsegg CC GT. From the beginning on, this was one of my favorite cars in the game. As you can see, we're rocking S2-Class online races in today's video, and this is a street race. Means, guys, this is going to be chaotic, this is going to be entertaining, and obviously I'm also going to talk about my tuning which I used for this car. We're going through all details here in terms of upgrades and the setup itself. And as you can see, it's wild to drive S2-Class online here, because we also have this annoying traffic, but this obviously leads to interesting situations here, and wow, that was close with this truck. We have this Porsche 918 Spider getting back on the track, but nothing really happened. We went through this roundabout, which is definitely quicker most of the time, and we are already third behind this Mosler GT3, another amazing car driven by Roger. And now, guys, we are second here already, and yeah, this is going to be interesting from here on. This traffic was really nice to us while we hunt Pop in the lead with this McLaren F1 GT, which is definitely superior than our Koenigsegg CC GT in these street races, but that's something we're going to tackle later in this video, and that was so close, man. This traffic car, like 10 meters differently, like forwards or backwards, and I would have died basically here on this bridge. We saw that Roger kept up, actually. He's there. He's already there. Oh my god. But Roger just crashed into this other traffic car, I think. And now we see that Pop got issues with his McLaren F1 GT. Since this is a rear drive car, we have all-wheel drive. It's much easier to drive in our handling beast, and we overtook him. Pop was a nice opponent. He was always nice in these lobbies. And now we have to defend here. He wanted to take the inside, but couldn't quite make it. And that means, guys, we are winning race number 1. Yeah, what a race in the beginning. Guys, you know how that works. Definitely smash that like button for these entertaining races. And yeah, subscribe to be part of our lovely Johnson Racing community. And I can tell you, the Brabham spam in these lobbies in S2-Class was crazy. Most of the races I show you today won't feature many Brabhams, but dude, this is crazy. There was a lobby when we had like 12 people and 7 raced a Brabham. Anyway, guys, today's tune is provided by Nick3140. We already featured his tune on our setup spreadsheet for the best S2-Class cars. However, for this video specifically, he made a new setup only for you guys. What a legend. We are hunting Pop once again in his McLaren F1 GT. Made slight contact with the wall here. But now, guys, my line is just superior. He thinks he's cool there going over the grass, but then the traffic appears, and obviously I knew that this happened, that this will happen. So yeah, that's why I overtook him here. But the downside will follow in a few seconds. So first of all, my line here wasn't the perfect one. However, guys, let me tell you, since we have so much handling, this car only features 762 horsepower, and you see how this McLaren is just flying away here compared to our car. In this turn, I should have overtaken him, but he was nice in terms of defending his position, and now we only have like 25% left, but it's basically straight on. And in these parts, you won't stand a chance in the Koenigsegg CC GT against more powerful cars. Only 762 horsepower means you have to focus on handling tracks to be super amazing, but simultaneously it's a great all-round car. So even on, let's say, mid-speed tracks, this still works in my opinion. Before we're heading to the tuning section after this race, I definitely want to show you this chaotic one, which shows once again that street racing in S2-Class can be super wild, especially because of the traffic. So you also see that the initial start of our all-wheel drive Koenigsegg is great. However, as soon as we're reaching like mid-speed territory, then some other cars are better than ours. However, as soon as we are heading into this turn, we are already back. As you can see, we have good brakes, we have amazing downforce, but we get overtaken by this Lamborghini now, and now it happens, guys. One big van is just destroying the race of every single car there in front of us, except mine and Roger's, who's still behind us. But let's take a look at this again in some slow-mo effect here. So we're close to the Lamborghini, we make slight contact, But this leads to the chain reaction that these two cars are crashing into the van, and the other two also had huge issues since, yeah, the van basically appeared in the middle of this turn. Street races in a nutshell. But I survived. I also survived the other traffic cars there that followed after this big incident. And yeah, this led to the situation that we're leading the race after 40% of the race. Hunted by Roger once again in his Mosler, and yeah, he's definitely going to hunt us without mercy in this race, guys. I also want to tackle the situation of the backstage shop and this car, because, you know, this is a wheel spin car. It means you could have unlocked this car before, especially players who are playing Forza Horizon 5 for like, I don't know, 3 years now. However, I think this car is still worth a backstage pass, since in the auction house you still have to pay like 8 million credits for this one, which basically makes it like the most valuable wheel spin car in the backstage shop, and I also think it was like the rarest cars from all of those wheel spin cars. So I checked it for another video and there wasn't a single car in the auction house before it actually made it to the backstage shop. So I get that people are a bit upset, you know, that the Maserati didn't make the cut, but still, I think the Koenigsegg is a decent choice, and I also think this race was decent. And now, let's head to the tuning part. We see that we're already at 965 PI. Stock means that there is not so much to do in terms of upgrades here, guys. But there are obviously a few crucial ones, just like the engine swap. So go for the Racing V12. I mean, it's always superior, or let's say most of the time, and you've already heard that we use that. And at the same time, I talked about this already, this car features the all-wheel drive swap, which makes the car much better, much grippier. There's no aspiration involved, so just skip that. In terms of tires, you have to know this car already features the race tires that we're using, so you don't have to do anything here. In terms of rear tire width, yes, as always, go with the widest tires. And for now, we're leaving this section, guys. You know, we are coming back for some final steps, but before we are actually going with the 8-speed transmission, which definitely helps us in the end to stay in S2-Class, to not get into X-Class. And of course, you know, the drift differential is something we always use here, and we also have the driveline installed, the race one, of course. Heading to platform and handling, we didn't install the off-road springs and dampers this time, which is interesting, but of course the race weight reduction, you know, which is always the most important setting basically you can get for your money or for your PI. And in terms of engine, you know, there's not so much left. The only part we can install here is the intake manifold. Go with that. But for now, we are in X-Class now, as you can see. So we head back to tires and rims. We go to our rim style, and you want to use some different ones, guys. So we are going down here, and these are the ones that Nick used, and you can obviously use different ones. But you know, this makes your car slightly heavier and they will do the job. The Oz Racing Aspen HLT. Awesome name. So let's go with these. We also increase our size of the rims at the back only. And then we make some final touches in terms of our track width. So we go with this one, the second one here at the front, and at the back we go all the way. And yeah, this keeps our car in S2-Class, S2 998, and we're done with the setup. Let's install it, guys. And now let's obviously move on with the tuning section. So our tire pressure is pretty standard with a 29.5 and 28.5. We head over to the gearing, which is pretty extreme. So we have the shortest possible final drive, but then we also made every single gear longer. Interesting choice, Nick. Followed by the lovely alignment section with -0.3 and -0.5 for camber, and for toe we changed the rear slightly. We have 0.1 here, and of course the front caster is at 7.0. And I think I don't have to tell you that the anti-roll bars have to be 165 for this car to be super active. Remember that we don't have off-road springs in this case, so we really have to soften them here, so the lowest possible value is 40.9. And in terms of the ride height, we see that we went all the way for the front and almost all the way to the left, but only almost. 8.3, that's our value here. And in terms of damping, it's definitely the most aggressive setting I've seen for a while, so we have 1.4 at the front and 20 full at the rear. And in terms of bump stiffness, it's pretty conservative with 4.2 and 4.6. In terms of aero, full front downforce, nothing to discuss here, and almost full rear downforce, but the car can cope with it, and that's why it's also super stable, guys. In terms of braking force, we have the balance at 55%, so that the car actually like steers a bit more rear heavy, so that you're really like nicely sliding into these turns somehow. And the pressure is at 110, but that's completely personal in my opinion. And then for the differential settings, guys, we went with 30-0, which is also pretty conservative in my opinion. 108 for the rear, and the center balance is at 88%. A nice sweet spot. That's it, and now let's head to the last race and an interesting wrecker. And obviously, if you don't want to bother tuning yourself, guys, this setup is part of a huge, extensive setup spreadsheet, which you can find in the description of the video with over 500 tunes now. And there you can find the share code of this lovely tune uploaded by Nick3140. Thanks again, Nick, you're awesome. And now we're at the Horizon Mexico circuit, and we see that these two Porsche 918s definitely don't have the best speed here. We waited for 6 seconds to have an exciting race here, and yeah, definitely stay with me, guys, because especially the end is very, very, yeah, special in terms of a special individual that's waiting for us. However, we are close to the pack already here in lap number 2, and now it happens. I'm wrecking this Bugatti Divo, guys. I became the wrecker. Because actually, I was relying on the high-speed collision prediction. And it's so inconsistent. And this is very annoying, you know. I was like, I can just, you know, shoot through him and nothing happens. But yeah, it happened. So, sorry, Bugatti guy. You also saw that I just overtook this AMG 1, so stay tuned for some interesting next video, guys, in which I definitely showcase the AMG 1, but in which context, let's see. But now we are close to the end. We are behind this Aston Martin Valkyrie AMR Pro, another amazing S2-Class backstage shop car. I am on his outside. He definitely keeps the inside, but then take a look at this. He is turning into us, but I'm obviously, of course, returning the favor, and he missed his checkpoint, I think, because of that, and we won this last race. What are these people thinking all the time? Thanks for being here as always, everyone. I hope it was helpful and, of course, entertaining at the same time. Don't forget to smash like, don't forget to subscribe, you know the drill. And definitely check out my last top 5 Porsche in A-Class video. It actually underperformed a bit too much in my opinion, so let's push this together, guys. I see you next time, maybe with the AMG 1. Oh my god, I'm your favorite German potato. Cheers.